Hi friends, today let's analyze in detail about the Kerala State's Economic Review, especially Chapter 12, Local Governments and Decentralized Planning. The year 2021 marked the 25th anniversary of the inauguration of People's Plan movement, which brought about fundamental changes in the structure, functions, roles and objectives of the local governments in the state. With the introduction of decentralized planning, which involved devolution of authority and financial resources, local governments were empowered to address the needs of the people and devise solutions at grassroots levels. They have also become instrumental in implementing programs to ensure social welfare, social justice and social security. The interventions of local governments in health, education, housing and infrastructure development have been remarkable. The process of decentralization in Kerala was launched during the 9th 5-year plan period as a People's Plan campaign emphasizing the concept of participatory planning. This was new for the period. People's representatives and officials in local governments. During the 10th plan, the decentralization program in Kerala was restructured and named Kerala Development Plan, that is KDP. At present, there are 1,200 local governments in Kerala, which include 941 Gram Panchayats, 152 Block Panchayats, 14 District Panchayats, 18 municipalities and 6 municipal corporations. Now, if we look into the fund allocations, the funds are devoted to the local governments in 3 streams as per the recommendations of the State Finance Commission. Number 1. General Purpose Fund. These are for meeting the expenditure on traditional functions and establishment expenses. Number 2. Maintenance Funds. This is for the maintenance of assets of local governments, including those transferred as part of decentralization. And finally, Development Funds or Plan Allocation. These are for meeting the development expenditures. In 2021-22, the state transferred 4% of its own tax revenue as General Purpose Fund and 6.5% of its own tax revenue as maintenance funds to the local governments. Now, if we review the 13th 5-year plan, it had the broad theme of Nava Keralathina Janagiya Asutranam, that is, People's Plan for Sustainable Development. In the beginning of the 13th 5-year plan, some drastic and innovative changes were made in the plan guidelines, such as rescheduling of plan processes to enable the local governments to prepare their plans on time, integration of plan and budget, timely implementation and better utilization of funds, opportunity for formulation and effective implementation of innovative projects, etc. The budget allocation to local governments show that the development fund increased from 23.5% of state plan to 26%, and there is remarkable increase in maintenance funds too and general purpose funds also. Now, if we analyze the performance of the 13th 5-year plan, it comes as follows. The Scheduled Caste Subplan or the SCSB and Tribal Subplan, that is TSB, are implemented in Kerala to provide special protective measures to safeguard the interests of people of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. This ensures equality through comprehensive measures of social justice. The allocation of plan funds to SCSP and TSP from state plan outlay is done according to the ratio of population of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to the total population of the state. In Kerala, a notable feature is that the state allocates more fund in these two sectors to ensure socio-economic upliftment. In 2017-18, the expenditure in SCSP was 78.45%, which increased to 92.64% in 2021-22. Similarly, the TSP expenditure increased from 87.89% in 2017-18 to 101.81% in 2021-22, including spillover expenditures too. Now, if we analyze the expenditure performance in production, service and infrastructure sectors to which the local government allocate their planned funds, it comes as follows. In the production sector, the expenditure in 2017-18 was 14.08% of the total expenditure. This has stayed mostly stable over subsequent years. The proportion of expenditure in service sector showed an increase from 56.84% in 2017-18 to 72.19% in 2021-22. In the infrastructure sector, it was 29.08% in 2017-18 and 14.18% in 2021-22. Now, if we look into the planned performances of the local governments in the year 2021-22, we can see that the development fund is the main source of funding for local governments. In 2021-22, the total budgeted outlay under development fund for local governments was 7,180 crores. The health grant of 559 crores was not released. The expenditure was 5,853.07 crore, which was 88.38% of the total budgeted outlay excluding the health grant. The overall expenditure performance of the gram panchayats and block panchayats has been about 90% and 83.05% in district panchayats. Municipalities have achieved 84.26%. The expenditure of municipal corporations have been above 70%. Now, if we analyze the subsector expenditures in the production sector, we can see that in the year 2021-22, of the total expenditure incurred in production, 40.85% was in agriculture, followed by animal husbandry, 21.80%, then dairy development, 16.31%, soil and water conservation, 8.04%, industry and self-employment, 5.86%, fisheries, 2.74%, and irrigation, 2.55%. If we look into the service sector expenditure in 2021-22, there are 19 subsectors under service sector, including housing, education, social welfare, sanitation and waste processing, health, etc. Out of the total expenditure in service sector, 38.03% of the total expenditure was incurred in housing and house electrification, followed by 10.82% in sanitation and waste processing, 9.62% in education, and finally 8.41% in drinking water sector. In the case of infrastructure expenditure in 2021-22, there are 7 subsectors in the infrastructure sector, including transport, public buildings, street lights, etc. In 2021-22, of the total expenditure in the infrastructure sector, a major proportion, that is 64.65%, have been utilized for transportation, which includes roads and bridges. Public buildings with 16.96% and street lights and electrification with 14.77% are the next highest. If we examine the performance under special sector plans in 2021-22, the Women Component Plan, that is the WCP, and plans for disadvantaged groups. The disadvantaged groups that come under this plans are aged, children, differently abled, palliative care and transgender. These plans by the local governments are noteworthy features of Kerala's decentralized planning. The expenditure on WCP in 2021-22 was 327.44 crores. For the special program for children and for persons with disability, rupees 164.76 crore and 81.95 crores respectively was spent. Expenditure on projects for elderly was 107.36 crores and 88.06 crores for palliative care. On projects for transgender, the expenditure was mere 0.07 crores was spent. If we look into the disaster management plans, over the last few years, frequent natural disasters such as flood, coastal erosion, drought, and landslides, and climatic variations have been affecting the state, posing serious challenges to livelihood security and economic development. To mitigate the impacts of such disasters and to improve disaster preparedness, all Gram Panchayats and urban local governments in the state prepared local disaster management plans in 2019-20. For the first time in the country, the disaster management plans in the local government includes profile of the local governments, hazard and vulnerability profile, capacity and resources of the local government, response plan, and finally preparedness, mitigation, and community resilience plan. The COVID-19 pandemic and local government initiatives. The local governments played a crucial role in managing COVID-19 pandemic and its spread in the state. As part of the colossal efforts to restrict the spread of pandemic and mitigates its impact on the lives of people, the local government formulated special projects as part of the annual plan in 2021-22. These were for creating infrastructure, procuring medicine, formulating post-COVID treatment initiatives, improving hospital amenities, providing aid to patients, ensuring food and medicines to the poor, etc. The award of 15th Union Finance Commission grants to the local governments in the year 2021-22, a move towards more tight activities. The 15th Finance Commission has made a significant departure from the previous Central Finance Commissions in its recommendation, particularly for the urban areas. For the rural areas, the Commission has recommended grants to all tiers of panchayats, including block and district panchayats. In a major departure from previous practices, the 15th Union Finance Commission recommended grants to urban local governments under two categories for the first time, that is, million plus urban cities, and second one is all other cities and towns with less than 1 million population. Now if we look into the special window for innovative programs, one of the prominent features of the 13th 5-year plan was introduction of special window of innovative program for designing schemes that are relevant and innovative in nature but cannot otherwise be taken up by the local governments. Many of the projects thus conceptualized may be difficult to implement in accordance with the existing norms. A district level expert committee chaired by the district collector was constituted to examine and approve innovative projects of the local governments. Now let's examine the 14th 5-year plan for the year 2022-27 towards sustainable development and local economic growth. In the 14th 5-year plan period, the state envisages revitalization of the system of democratic governance based on the experience of the past. The 14th 5-year plan aims to further increase the capacity and efficiency of the local government institutions in dealing with several emerging challenges. One of the major objectives is to simplify and streamline the planning, execution, and associated activities of the development projects by minimizing unnecessary delays in procedures and other restrictions. The focus is also given to ensure coordinated activities of development departments and other institutions at various levels of planning and implementation of the development projects by local governments. The 14th 5-year plan envisages an active role of the local governments in enhancing production and productivity in the primary sector, creating and catalyzing growth and employment generation in the secondary and service sectors, encouraging scientific natural resource management, promoting inclusive development and poverty alleviation, and enhancing the quality of service delivery. The governments would also facilitate the growth of employment in industry and services and are crucial to simplify the procedures associated with investment, thus encouraging the growth of industrial and other forms of capital investment at all levels in the state. Local governments implement a range of special sector programs which include programs designed to serve the special needs of women, children, transgenders, persons with disabilities and senior citizens, and persons under palliative care. The 14th Five-Year Plan will support efforts by local bodies to sustain and improve the accomplishments of state with respect to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. The District Resource Centers. The District Resource Centers are expert committees formed in the district under the leadership of district planning committees. This is to ensure the services of experts, academic institutions, professionals from development or research or technical institutions, and government departments in order to improve the quality and knowledge content of local plans, to infuse new technology and knowledge, and to provide the services of expert and educational or research institutions in formulation of local plans. The main function of DRCs are to conduct studies in the area and topics required by the DPC as well as the local governments, give technical advice to improve the knowledge content of the local government plans, to prepare DPRs on projects as required by local governments, to scrutinize the plans prepared by local governments, to point out weaknesses and suggest measures to improve it, to study model projects and bring it to the attention of state, and revision of the district plan every year. If we analyze the extreme poverty eradication and micro plan preparation, during the 14th Five-Year Plan period, the government aims to wipe out extreme poverty in the state. A total of 64,006 families have been identified as extremely poor in the state, of which 12,763 belongs to the scheduled caste, 3,021 belongs to scheduled tribe, and 48,222 belongs to other categories. Food, shelter, income, and medical assistance were the criteria based on which the extreme poor were identified. Local governments have started drawing up micro-level plans to address each of the factors that contribute to extreme poverty after collecting further details of these families. The guidelines insist that the ideas and suggestions of the identified families should also be considered while preparing the micro-plan. The contents of the plan are divided into three sections. 1. Immediate care plan, intermediate plan, long-term comprehensive plan. As per the latest data from Extreme Poverty Eradication Cell, ration cards have been issued to 2,516 people, Aadhaar cards have been issued to 2,262, voter cards have been issued to 6,770, 22,233 have been connected to health systems, and 14,618 have been provided food. Now, let's start reviewing the central and state programs implemented by the local governments. First, infrastructure development. Kerala's decentralized planning has enabled higher investment in social and service infrastructure comparable with that of many advanced countries. Local governments have made substantial progress in housing and other basic amenities such as drinking water, sanitation, and drainage facilities, which determine the quality of life and decent standards of living. Now, let's analyze the housing sector. The government of Kerala is implementing a massive program to provide housing for the houseless in the state through the Life Mission program. This program envisages integration of various housing schemes by the state as well as central governments with the aid of local self-government institutions. The program Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana consists of schemes for rural and urban areas, namely Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban respectively, and aims at providing Pakka houses with basic amenities to all houseless households living in Kacha and dilapidated houses in rural and urban areas by 2024. Till 18th of November 2022, rupees 5,222.48 crores, out of which Centre and State have released 1,194.90 crores and 414.84 crores respectively. Now, if we analyze sanitation and waste management programs, the Suchitwa mission is the nodal agency for evolving the implementation strategy and providing technical support to the state government and local governments for solid and liquid waste management policies and projects. The Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, which aims to ensure that all rural families have access to safe toilets. The state was declared open defecation free way back in November 1st, 2016 in rural areas by constructing 1,74,720 individual household latrines in villages. Gobar Dhan scheme. It is an integral component of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or the Swachh Bharat mission launched in April 2018, which is intended to manage bio-waste including animal waste, kitchen leftovers, crop residue and market waste into biogas. Till September 30, 2022, 43 such projects are under various stages incurring a cost of Rs 33.89 lakhs. Smart garbage management is yet another innovation devised by the state government to effectively manage garbage collection by local governments. It is an IT-enabled waste management monitoring system that creates a complete database of the origin of waste and provides solutions to reduce waste and segregate for proper processing. It would act as an online platform for citizens to participate and ensure cleanliness across the state. Now, if we analyze the urban infrastructure programs, Amrut scheme. Amrut scheme aims to address the basic challenges of urban physical and institutional infrastructure development, covering the components of water supply and sewerage, steppage, stormwater drainage, urban transport, green spaces and parks, and capacity building. 6 municipal corporations and 3 municipalities. The municipalities are Alappuzha, Palakkad and Guruvayur in the state have been selected under the Amrut scheme. The fund sharing pattern between the centre, state and the ULB is in the ratio of 50:30:20. The projects under Amrut 2.0 include household water tap connection, sewerage or steppage management in Amrut cities and rejuvenation of water bodies and construction of green spaces. The total project outlay is 3,495 crores, out of which central assistance would be 1,372 crores. The funding under Amrut 2.0 is population based and central assistance for Amrut 2.0 is such that for cities with less than 1 lakh population, 50% of the project cost would be borne by the centre. The Smart City projects of Kochi aims at planned and integrated development of Cochin Corporation area by improving the civic infrastructure. The Smart City Kochi envisages 70 projects, of which 18 projects have been completed, 19 are under implementation and 19 projects are in tendering stages. Also, funding for implementing 14 projects worth 68.73 crores have been transferred to other agencies. The completed projects include Integrated Command Control and Communication Center, Smart Roads in Ernakulam, implementation of Integrated Traffic Management System, etc. The Local Road Rebuild Project. The roads that were destroyed during the floods of 2018-19, which come under the jurisdiction of local governments, were to be restored as part of the Chief Minister's Local Road Rebuild Project. Out of the 5,046 works that were sanctioned, 4,171 were already completed to the extent of 92,570.46 kilometers. The emphasis on natural resource management has not significantly increased, as evident from the number of schemes in the sector. The Government of India has merged the erstwhile Integrated Watershed Management Program with the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sanchay Yojana in 2015-16, and thereafter the IWMP is implemented as the watershed component of the PMKSY. The activities envisaged in the program include prevention of soil erosion, regeneration of natural vegetation, rainwater harvesting, recharging of groundwater, and reclamation of cultivable wastelands. Kerala always gives Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme great importance. In 2021-22, the state generated a total of 10.59 crore person days of employment, of which 18.31% was generated by scheduled castes and 6.34% by the scheduled tribes. It is striking to note that the majority of beneficiaries in Kerala are women. The total number of women person days constituted 89.57% of the total person days compared to the national figure of 54.70. Kerala has pioneered an exclusive program to provide employment to the urban poor, Ayyankali Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. It is a state-funded program to enhance the livelihood security in urban areas by guaranteeing at least 100 days of wage employment to every household whose adult members are willing to engage in unskilled manual labor. In 2021-22, an amount of 100 crore was earmarked for AUEGS. The entire amount was spent and the program created 46,33,552 person days in various municipalities and corporations. Now we analyze the development of livelihoods of poor using various schemes of the government. The Day NRLM is a demand-driven program for encouraging self-employment among rural poor. The subcomponents of Day NRLM include Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana, Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, and Mahila Kisan Shastrikaran Pariyojana. Day NULM aims to reduce poverty and vulnerability of urban poor. Day NULM has identified 3,196 homeless persons in the shelter to the urban homeless component of the program. Till September 30th, 2022, 25,834 street vendors have been identified in the support of urban street vendor component, and identity cards were issued to 18,491 street vendors. Under the component employment through skill training and placement, 4,290 candidates have been enrolled under the social mobilization and institution development component of Day NULM. The Kudumbashree, the state poverty eradication mission, was formed with the objective of eradicating poverty through the empowerment of women. It is an innovative women-based participatory poverty alleviation program launched by the government of Kerala in 1998 with the participation of 45 lakh women. Kudumbashree is the nodal agency for implementing various centrally sponsored schemes such as Day NRLM, Day NULM, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. BUTS institutions for children with disability functioning under the local governments are monitored through Kudumbashree machinery. Till September 2022, a total of 342 BUTS institutions had been started. An online class for BUTS children, an online therapy program for the parents and BUTS children was started with the support of Composite Regional Center, Kozhikode. Subiksha Kerala campaign. Over 456 weekly markets or Natachantas have been provided with infrastructure support and other revolving funds, resulting in sales realization of 14 crore rupees and more than 2,918 tons of vegetables, banana and tubers by the JLGs. As part of Subiksha Kerala campaign, 4,481 new JLGs were formed and 1,575 inactive JLGs were activated. Haritha Karma Sena. Kudumbashree provides training to the members of Haritha Karma Sena in local governments for undertaking waste management activities. Through this, 28,000 women have been trained and 19,911 Haritha Karma Sena members are working across 917 local governments in Kerala. Kudumbashree initiated Theerashree to improve the socio-economic conditions of the coastal population through the development of coastal communities. For this, the services of 91 coastal community volunteers were utilized. 707 new national health groups, which contains 8,730 members, were formed, and 179 defunct coastal national health groups were revived. During the pandemic, 1,196 Janakiya hotels, a network set up by Kudumbasri in convergence with the local government to provide meals at Rs 20, was started to achieve the government's mission to make Kerala hunger free. On an average, these hotels sell 1.65 lakh meals per day. Kudumbasri chicken was initiated to ensure availability of good quality broiler chicken meat at reasonable price to consumers throughout Kerala. It is a scheme implemented by Kudumbasri in convergence with the Department of Animal Husbandry as well as KEPCO. In the scheme, 1 day old chicks are given to farmers along with feed and medicines, and after 40 days they are brought back. They are bought back. As of now, there are 248 farms and 84 outlets supplying Kerala chicken across the state. As part of this, 152 farmers were given training in farm management and contract farming across the state. 350 have been found. They have found their livelihood through farming and setting up network of outlet under this project. Today, we have comprehensively analyzed the 12th chapter of Kerala's Economic Review 2022. I hope I was very clear to you all. In case of any doubts or queries, please reach out to me. Thank you.